Introduction. In this video, we will use City Multi-Outdoor Unit PUCY series with the indoor unit ceiling concealed type, which installs in MCP Training Center building. The outdoor unit is installed on the rooftop, and indoor units are installed in each room for individual operation, depends on the activity. Please kindly concern for installation procedure from this video to improve your best quality of installation, commissioning and operation of Mitsubishi Electric Air Conditioner City Multi-VRF System. Tools and equipment. Before the installation of the air conditioner, we must wear these following equipment: safety shoes, safety glasses, racing glasses, sleeves, safety helmet, gloves. Safety belt must be worn to against injury from fall. Racing sleeve, cloth mask, ears plug. Installation equipment: R410A refrigerant cylinder, refrigerant charging meter, gauge manifold, charging hose, vacuum pump, vacuum gauge, flare tool, raising unit, nitrogen cylinder, safety valve, pressure regulator, hexagonal wrenches, suspension ropes, torque wrench, level gauge, anti-vibration rubber, power cable, transmission cable must use shielding wire, remote control cable, multimeter, mega ohm meter, phase checker, MN converter. Installation of indoor unit. Now we are ready to begin the installation of indoor unit. Select the optimum direction of supply airflow according to the configuration of the room and the installation position. As the piping and wiring are located at the side surface, the maintenance access door should be prepared at the same location with a proper space. For efficient suspension work and safety, please provide a space as much as possible. Use the unit dimension, fixing points and pump bulb to confirm that the unit body and hanging bolts are positioned in place. Prepare the hanging structure. Bringing the indoor unit to installation site. To hang the indoor unit uses a lifting machine or at least 2 persons to lift up the unit and pass through the hanging bolt. Confirm the unit position and fixing the hanging bolt. Use a level gauge to check that the indoor unit is in horizontal position. Finally, ensure that the nuts are tightened to fix the hanging bolts. Duct work. In connecting duct, insert canvas duct between unit and duct. Provide full insulation to inlet duct flange and outlet duct to prevent condensation. Be sure to change the position of air filter to the position where it can be serviced. Installation of outdoor unit. After receive the outdoor unit, please check that the unit is being in normal condition and model name is corrected. In case of installs the outdoor unit at the high place, this is the outdoor unit lifting procedure. Use 2 suspension ropes with the capability of bearing the weight of outdoor unit. Each rope's length should be longer than 8 meters. Adjust the angle of roping at 40 degrees or less. In order to prevent the outdoor unit body comes in direct contact with ropes, please use the protective pads to protect the unit from being scratched. Stabilize as necessary, so then it not move to the side and support it at 4 points. Use concrete base or angle bracket as the foundation of the outdoor unit. Vibration may transmit to the installation section. Therefore, please provide sufficient vibration proofing, like an anti-vibration pad between base and the unit. Ensure an anti-vibration pad enlarged enough to cover the entire width of each of the unit's leg. If the corners are not firmly seated, the unit's leg may bend and cause unit imbalance standing. Refrigerant piping work. Store the piping to be used during installation indoors, and keep both ends of the piping sealed until before bracing. Do not use the existing refrigerant piping. To avoid dewdrop, provide sufficient insulating work onto both liquid and gas pipe. The method of pipe connection for indoor unit is blare or braced connection. Brace with non-oxidation brace with nitrogen purge only. Do not use a commercially anti-oxidizing agent. It may cause pipe corrosion and degrading of the refrigerant oil. Indoor unit. Covering a wet cloth on the unit pipe insulator in order to prevent it from burning and shrinking by heat. Brace and remove the cap. Put the refrigerant pipe to the indoor unit and non-oxidation bracing with nitrogen purge. Cover the refrigerant piping with pipe insulator and ensure that there is no gap with indoor unit pipe insulator. Outdoor unit. Check that both of service valves are closed. After released gas from the pinch connecting pipe, place a wet cloth on the service valve before heating up and brace section to keep the valve temperature no exceed 120 degrees Celsius. Heat the brace section and remove the pinch connecting pipes. Refrigerant pipe connection. This unit allows two types of pipe routing: bottom piping and front piping. Check the liquid and gas piping dimension before connecting the refrigerant pipe. Make sure that refrigerant pipe is not touching other refrigerant pipes, unit panels, or base plates. Be sure to use non-oxidation with nitrogen purge when connecting the pipes. When connecting the twinning kit between the outdoor unit, the length of straight pipe must be 500 mm or longer. Otherwise, it may cause improper operation. The tilt angle of twinning kit must be within ±15 degrees with the horizontal plane. Finally, insulate the piping properly. Insufficient insulation will result in a decline in cooling or heating performance and water drops from the condensation forming. Drain piping work. Use a hard vinyl chloride pipe outer diameter 32 mm for drain piping. Put the 9 mm or more thickness cover onto drain piping and install the drain piping on metal support. Never provide any air vent pipe, odor trap, or irregularity on the way. Ensure that the drain pipe is downward with a pinch of more than 1/100 to the outdoor or discharge side. In case of collected pipe, ensure that it's 10 cm lower than the unit's body. Connect to indoor unit. Insert the accessory drain hose into the drain port. The drain hose must be not bent more than 45 degrees to prevent the hose from breaking or clogging. Attach the hose with glue for the hard vinyl chloride pipe. Attach the field supply drain pipe and fix it with accessory bands. In order to make sure that drain-up mechanism operates normally for discharge and that there is no leakage from the connection, please perform before sealing work is done. Perform insulation work on the PVC drain pipe and on the socket including elbows. Wiring works. Before starting the wiring work, Check that the power supply must be turned off. Install the conduit tube directly through knockout holes. Thread the power supply cable through the rubber bushing on the left side. Ensure that OC and OS are wired individually. Connect the power supply and earth cable to the terminal block and hold in a place respectively with a cable strap. Secure the rubber bushing with a supplied band. Make sure the cable is not coming out. Make sure again that there are no loose ends on the connection and attach the cover onto the terminal block. Transmission cable. Thread the shield transmission cable through the rubber bushing on the right side. Be sure never connect commercial power supply to the terminal block of transmission cable. Connect the indoor-outdoor shield transmission cable to the terminal block TB3. In case of multiple outdoor units are connected, or using system controller daisy chain terminal block TB7 transmission cable on all outdoor units. Secure the rubber bushing with a supplied band and make sure the cable is not coming out. When taking the conduit tube out from the bottom parts of the unit, caulk around the tube opening to prevent water penetration. Indoor unit. Remove the electric box cover. Thread the shield transmission cable through the knockout hole on the right side. Some cable above the ceiling may be bitten by rat. Use metal conduit or flexible conduit for protect the cable. Connect the indoor-outdoor shield transmission cable to terminal TB5. The S on terminal block TB5 is a shielding cable connection. If multiple indoor units are connected in the same refrigerant system, daisy chain terminal block TB5 all indoor unit. Power supply cable. Thread the power supply cable through the knockout hole on the left side. Do not insert the power supply cable and transmission cable in the same conduit. Connect the power supply cable to power supply terminal block. For MA remote controller, connect the remote controller cable to terminal block TB15. For ME or MNet remote controller, connect the remote controller cable to M1 and M2 on terminal block TB5. After wiring work is completed, ensure that there is no loosen all wire connections and attach the electrical box cover. Installation of MA remote controller. Select the installation site. Thread the cable through the groove from behind to front. Connect the remote controller cable to the terminal on the bottom case. Do not use solderless terminals to connect the cable to terminal block. Fix the bottom case and connect the connector to the top case to prevent malfunction and cable breakage. Do not hang the top controller casing by its cable. Install the front cover and top case on the bottom case. Check that the case is securely installed and not lifted. Installation of ME remote controller. ME remote controller has similar installation procedure like a MA remote controller with some restrictions. ME controller should not be grouped with MA remote controller. An MNet address setting is required. Setting of MNet addresses. The address number for indoor units including lost name is 01 to 50. The address number for outdoor units is 51 to 100. The address number for main MNet remote controller is 101 to 150 and 151 to 200 for sub. The address number for main MNet remote controller is 000 or 201 to 250. Setting on indoor unit. If the address number of indoor unit is 03, remain SW12, which will use when over 10 address number at 0 and match switch SW11 with 3. Setting for outdoor unit. If the address number of outdoor unit is 53, match SWU2 at 5 and match SWU1 at 3. Setting of MNet remote controller. If the address number of MNet remote controller is 103, match address switch X10 at 0, address switch X1 at 3. Test run and commissioning. In order to confirm the system is working normally, the test run and commissioning is required. Before starting the test run, check the standard test run procedure, necessary tools, and planning the working schedule. Airtight test. In order to make sure that the refrigerant piping of the system has no leakage from the connection, the airtight test must be done before evacuation and additional charge of refrigerant. Perform with the valves of the outdoor unit closed and pressurize the connection piping and the indoor unit from the service pot provided on the valve of the outdoor unit. Always pressurize from both the liquid pipe and gas pipe service pots. Using nitrogen gas pressurizes to design pressure 4.15 megapascal or 600 psi. Do not use a flammable gas or oxygen, as the pressurization gas it may catch fire or explode. After pressurizing, allow it to stand for about 1 day. If the pressure does not drop, air tightness is good. Evacuation. The condensation pressure, which increases abnormally, caused from shorter evacuation time, resulting may degrade the compressor capacity or shorten life of compressor. Evacuate with a service pot provided on the valve of the outdoor unit using a vacuum pump. Always evacuate from both liquid and gas pipe. After the vacuum reaches 650 pascal absolute or 5 Thor, and continue evacuation for at least 1 hour or more. Then stop the vacuum pump and leave it for 1 hour. Ensure the degree of vacuum has not increased. However, the system manifold gauge should not be used to measure vacuum. A micron gauge must be used at all the times. Finally, seal in with the liquid refrigerant through the liquid pipe and adjust the gas piping. Obtain an appropriate amount of the refrigerant during operation. Refrigerant additional charge will be required on site. Since the refrigerant used with R410A, it must be charged with liquid state. Consequently, when charging refrigerant from a cylinder, if the cylinder does not have a slip-on tube, charge the liquid refrigerant by turning the cylinder upside down. After charging finished, tighten the service pot and cap securely. Always keep a record of the size, length of refrigerant piping, and the amount of additional charge by writing it in the space provided on the outdoor unit. Test run and commissioning. Before starting the test run, these following items must be checked. Check for loose of cables and connectors. Measure the insulation resistance between the power supply terminal block and the ground with 500 volts measure, and make sure it reads at least 1.0 mega ohm. Do not apply mega voltage for the transmission block for transmission cable. It will damage the control board. Measure the insulation resistance of compressor by removing all power supply wire from the compressor terminal block. It reads at least 1.0 mega ohm. Check that the valve on the gas pipe and liquid pipe are fully open. Check the phase sequence and the voltage of the power supply. Turn on the main power supply at least 12 hours before test run. After the power supply turned on, Check the voltage of each system component. Indoor unit, power supply, M-net transmission terminal, remote controller terminal. Outdoor unit, power supply, between line to neutral, between line to line, transmission terminal TB3 and TB7. The city multi-system can perform test run by outdoor unit dip switch, remote controller, or maintenance tool software. Finally checking and saving the system operation data by using maintenance tool computer software via MN converter. We hope this installation instructional video will be useful to increase your knowledge, skill, and understanding the installation procedures of Mitsubishi Electric City Multi-VRF Air Conditioning System. The Mitsubishi Electric Training Center would like to express our gratitude for taking the time with us, and we hope to see you again. Thank you.